Now, I want to share something with you that may make you feel a little uncomfortable, and I hope it does, because if it makes you feel uncomfortable, then that means that that's where you need to go. And what that is, I'll tell you a secret, come a little bit closer, is you probably have more to do with your wife's craziness than you even recognize. More than you probably even want to admit. Those things that she's doing that you don't understand, that you think is hindering the growth of the relationship, or if she just did that, if she just said this, that things would be better. My question is, what did you do to contribute to that? And I want to share a story with you, something that came up with my wife just this morning, and why brutal responsibility on your part can help you save your relationship, or at least get you in a mindset to start letting it grow. And what this pertains to is, this morning, my wife and I were having a conversation, and I was sharing with her something that I heard on a podcast as I was cleaning this morning. And it was just really about a reflection. And in the middle of our conversation, my wife, her attention was directed somewhere else, to our cat. Our cat was actually, okay, I'm going to say this. So we live in Spain. And it's very warm where we live in the Canary Islands. And just like in tropical areas, we have cockroaches that can come in the house. Well, we had one come in the house, and our kitten was actually hunting and hunted the cockroach, Go Nubia. My wife's attention was directed towards what was happening, and she interrupted me mid-conversation. So as she went to go get the cockroach out of our kitten's mouth, I went to go finish cleaning. Well, when my wife came back, she immediately apologized to me for interrupting the conversation. Now, the reason why that's so important is because in our relationship, one of the things that I found very challenging as it pertains to my wife is having fluid conversation, and that my wife sometimes finds it difficult to communicate as openly and as clearly and as concisely as I would like her to be, as I'd like her to communicate. And that then translates to me being frustrated with her when she doesn't communicate the way I would like her to communicate. But the point is when she came and apologized for interrupting me, there is a very big learning lesson in there that reminded me that I actually created some of this resistance for her to open up. Why is that? Well, going back from really the time that we met about 5 years ago, in the first 3.5 years of our relationship, when I was really just completely stressed out, focused on work, focused on building and growing my first business, was working, I don't want to say way too much, but probably way too much, without taking the necessary steps to recharge my battery and actually clear the stress that was building up. When my wife would communicate with me, or she would interrupt me because something caught her attention or she wanted to share, I would immediately express frustration with her. I would immediately share anger or even disapproval, like, why are you interrupting me? Why can you not just let me finish what I'm saying? And there may be other parts to that, to the conversation of why she's jumping in. But fact of the matter is, when my wife was doing that, most of the time, it was because she was excited. She wanted to share a thought that just came up. She wanted to be spontaneous. But in my very controlled world, my way of thinking, that wasn't acceptable. That wasn't allowed. She was being disrespectful to me, not letting me finish, jumping in my conversation, and I needed to show her that that wasn't okay. So when I did that, what do you think happened to my wife over time? What do you think what do you think she learned about me? What kind of confidence do you believe that she gained and got from interacting with me? She slowly started to shut down. She slowly started to go crazy trying to figure out when is the perfect time, the best time to interact and engage in the conversation with my husband, because if I don't do it at the right time, at the right moment, he's going to get angry with me. So I don't want to make him angry. I don't want it to make him frustrated. I don't want to feel like he's being disrespected. So I'm just not going to say anything. Who created that? And look, I understand every single person is responsible for their own interactions. But I also have to be brutally honest and responsible with what I contributed to that. Her thinking, she didn't get that from nowhere. She got that from somewhere. And so I'm being brutally honest with myself about cutting my wife off, about telling her directly and indirectly that it's not okay to jump into my conversation. She started to back off the conversation, began to communicate less. And in that less of breakdown of communication, that frustrated me. So now I'm frustrated about something I created. You see what happened there? And this is why being brutally honest with yourself and take responsibility for what you are contributing to the energy of your partner. Okay? That doesn't mean take on her stuff. She's responsible for her stuff. But you as a man, someone who's going to rise up, someone who's going to take control of your actions in your relationship, you need to be responsible for what you are contributing to the conversation in the environment. That can be if you are hiding your cell phone. If you are being a bit secretive and she doesn't trust you, and you don't like that she doesn't trust you and she's questioning you, what did you do to promote that behavior? If you find that she's a bit shy, timid, she's not as open or experimentative in the bedroom, how did you possibly contribute to her backing off? Did she try one time and you laughed at her? Did she try one time and you didn't receive her attempt because it wasn't as perfectly executed as you would have liked? And so now she's backing off and she lost her confidence in that. Could you have possibly contributed to that? That's the point. Because at the end of the day, what we have created, the environment, the energy that we have in our relationship, we, for the most part, as men, because we bring this powerful energy to the space, we dictate that a lot of times. And this is not saying that you need to control your woman. All right, don't go off and saying, well, Brian said I need to make sure that you do what I said. It's not what I'm saying. It's we are more powerful. We bring a different kind of energy into the space than we recognize. And so with that power and drive that we put into it, we could be possibly directing and pushing our partner, our wives, our queens in a direction that they don't want to be in. But they find themselves there because we set the pace. So in that, where can you identify and take brutal responsibility for the actions, the behaviors, the energy that your wife is bringing to the relationship? And again, this is not saying take her stuff on. It's where can you recognize that, damn, maybe she's acting that way for a reason. Maybe she's behaving that way for a reason. It didn't just happen. Get curious in that, because in that space is where you can start to enjoy the relationship that you really want to enjoy. Because what's happening is we give our women a whole bunch of crap and they'll take it because in that way they have a lot more patience and operating state of love than we do. They'll take it and they'll slowly adapt to make us happy. And then in that attempt to make us happy, to not have any problems, they start responding and acting in a way that we don't want. So where can you take brutal responsibility for the way your wife is coming into the relationship? And can you take responsibility to actually change that? Can you change the tone? Can you challenge yourself to dig deep into how you are presenting yourself and how you are nurturing your wife, your girlfriend in that space? That's what I want to send you off for this week, because for me, that's one of the best things that I learned in my marriage is being responsible for why my wife is the way she is. She's not just crazy. She's not just having, mood swings for nothing. Okay, sometimes she may be, having these things, but so do I. But where is it that I can be responsible? And that's what I'll leave you with today, right now, going forward, is make a commitment to yourself. Because at the end of the day, if you can make her go crazy and have these peculiar kind of personalities, you can actually nurture something different in her. You can actually pull out the queen in her, pull out the warrior in her that she has in that energy, and to be that spice, that energy, that person who's going to be creative, that person is going to be confident in all aspects, that's going to start giving you the marriage, the relationship that you want and that you deserve and that you need to have.